Hello and welcome to Solo Playthroughs. We're going back to Spirit Island. We have finished all 24 of our favorite new friends in Spirit Island, including Jagged Earth and Branch and Claw, and the two promo packs. They're the two original promo spirits, as well as the two that came with the Jagged Earth Kickstarter. And here we are. So I am going to start going through some of the original spirits, and we'll kind of bounce back and forth and kind of see where this adventure goes. I have a lot of ideas about things I want to do with this game. Thematic boards, double boards, two-handed play will probably come down the pipeline at some point. I know that will make some of you out there very happy, but I do want to start going through some of the scenarios. So on my little live Q&A with R. Eric Royce. If you have not seen it, it was awesome. His answers are just amazing. I could listen to that man for hours and not get bored. I'm so appreciative for him giving this channel the time, and I hope everyone out there appreciated it as much as I did. His answers were so thoughtful, and just, again, the more I learn about the thought that went into this game, the more I love what I get out of it. It is just an incredible feat of game design for sure. So enough about that. But when I asked him what I should do next, Eric told me that I should do Despicable Theft plus Powers Long Forgotten as some kind of co-op scenario thing. I will get to that. However, I think it might make more sense for me to go through either both of those scenarios individually, and then I will try to combine them. It does seem like it could be pretty fun. I'm going to do this today with River. River was one of the earliest spirits that I put on the channel. I'm going to try to get better versions of all those early videos out. Obviously, I've come quite a long way as far as my production quality. The lighting's a lot better, my sound quality is better, my editing skills are better. So let's get back to these original spirits. And I wanted to get the River first among the earliest videos because River was one of the 4 spirits that I was pretty emphatically told that I have undervalued, and I am inclined to think that is correct based on revisiting River with some of the comments that I got on my top 10 true solo video, true solo spirits. River does have some tricks that I had not stumbled into on my own. Again, as a player of this game, I do not read recommended starting plays. I don't do a lot of the things that some people really enjoy in this game. For me, this game has been all about discovery on my own. I've watched playthroughs here and there when they're out there. Obviously, I do playthroughs. I think they're valuable, hence big reason why I'm doing this channel. But I did miss a pretty key opening strategy with River and just an overall mentality as you approach this game with River that can really make River quite the strong spirit. Would it be a top 10 spirit if I had to redo it? I don't know. It would probably not be at 18 where I currently have it. The kryptonite to River among the adversaries is England. England will make River make River's life a lot tougher. Relative to the way I'll be approaching a game with River, but we'll see. I'll still have England in the possible adversaries that I will be against today, and if that matchup happens, then we'll be able to just do it that way. So I'm going to do this scenario, Despicable Theft, with River against a level 3 scenario. Now, if you want to level 3 adversary, I should say. Now, if you want to really not have to worry about a lot of rules, as Eric said in the live Q&A, you can always just go to Prussia, because Prussia has pretty much the most straightforward rules. There's not much you have to do after setup, whereas the rest of the adversaries, do have things you need to be thinking about in levels 1, 2, 3, and beyond. But I think level 3 plus the scenario will give us a nice difficulty rating, somewhere around 7, 8, or 9. Depending on the adversary. I think actually it's going to be 8 or 9 depending on the adversary, and that is based on the scenario having a difficulty level of a 2, and the adversaries at level 3 all having difficulty ratings of either 6 or I think a couple of them might be 7s. Yeah, France would be a difficulty rating of a 7. So I'm not going to, I think I read the flavor text on all the spirits. I always recommend when you're coming back to a spirit, look at the flavor text again. It's a nice way to kind of center you, remind yourself of how awesome this game is and how awesome the spirit is that you're about to play as. But obviously, low complexity spirit, it has 1 presence on the starting board and the highest number of wetlands. And I will not be using the aspect cards. I figured throwing too much at once doesn't make any sense. And again, I wanted to get a better video of River out there before I start messing too much with aspect cards and whatnot. But there's 1 aspect card you can replace this special rule. There's another aspect card that I think they both might replace the special rule, but the other one you actually have to get rid of. No, I think the other one gives you a second innate power, but you have to get rid of one of your starting cards. So you're starting with 3 starting cards. We're just going to play with good old vanilla River and go from there. The scenario, Despicable Theft. Small groups of invaders have been searching the island, and a few have found wonders. If they make it home, their people will stop at nothing to seek out more such fantastic treasures. Even those without wonders have tales and trophies that may bolster the invaders' resolve to stay. This scenario is notably easier for spirits with strong movement and isolate abilities, but notably harder for spirits that cannot move dahan very well, or spirits that do not have good ability to damage the invaders. All right, and it's also more difficult on the thematic boards. Again, that is another thing we will do on a future playthrough here for sure. Setup changes. We're going to have a pool of 18 of these suckers. 12 of them are blank. 3 of them have 1 on it. 2 of them have 2, and 1 of them has 3. And I'm going to go ahead. I just have a little card box here that I use for storing Spirit Island. I'm just going to throw them all in here. There is, most tokens in most games, there's like a little bit of a ridge. You can tell which side is face up and which side is face down, because again, we will not want that information, but we do I really don't feel like shuffle. You have to, like, when you put these on the board, when they come off, you have to put it back in, and just forget it. So I just throw them in here, and we'll mix them up that way. Good job. All right, so what are those little tokens? They represent thieves. Again, it's a small group of invaders that they're trying to steal some stuff from the island, and if they get off, they're going to basically reduce the amount of fear that people have on the island, because look at these awesome things, let's go get them, right? So it just makes things harder for the spirits, and there's a mechanic that if they get off the island and before you're able to destroy them, it also will accelerate the invader deck, right? So it's depending if there's a number there, so you want to make sure that you are trying to wipe those suckers out before they get off the island, or at least you want to see what they are before they get off the island, because it can make your life really, really miserable. All right, let me figure out what board I'm playing on. I'm playing on board 5, which is E. I am happy to be playing that. It is still my favorite board. I just like the flow of it. It's fairly cool. And now we're going to put our starting presence in land 8. We're going to, now that is a sacred place, again, our special rule, River's Domain. We have a sacred place wherever we have 1 presence. Our sacred site, I gotta get my nomenclature correct. I've been saying sacred place for so long, I promise. It is a sacred site. I've been called out on that, and I appreciate the call out. So yeah, so I have a sacred site now in land 8. We're gonna put the dahan on the board. Speaking of things I said wrong for a long time, it is dahan, not dahan. So there is going to be the jungle dahan in land 3. We have the mountain dahan in land 5, the wetland dahan in land 8, and then the solitary sands dahan. Cool. We're going to get our blight here. We need to figure out who our adversary is. So I'm going to put them out 1 through, well, we just played against Prussia in my live playthrough when I was Volcano, so I'll take them out and we'll see what I roll. It's a 5. That is the Kingdom of Scotland. Cool. That will be a nice little challenge for us. Great, so I have Despicable Theft there. I'll put the rules for Scotland here. Scotland's going to start with 2 cities in land 2. We're going to have a town in land 7 as per setup. Whenever Scotland explores into a coastal land, it will put a town instead of an explorer. And whenever Scotland builds, it's going to build. It's going to have like the adjacency stuff like England. If it is adjacent to a coastal city, the coastal lands will still build even if there is nothing there to build, right? So if it's going to build in land 3, even though there's no explorer, we will still get a town. But that's it. Again, we're only going to do level 3, so we're going to cut out level 4, which is good. It will make the Invader deck a little bit less punishing. But let's put that together. So we're going to need to get take out 1 level 3 card. I rolled a 1, so that's going to be out. And then we're going to take a look at this. I said level 3, the stage 3. Here we're going to take a look at the stage 2 cards. I'm going to take coastal lands out, shuffle up the rest. I got number 4, so that's out. I'm going to now roll again. I got 5, 6. I'm going to put the coastal land card on top of that. That's going to go there. I'm going to look at the stage 1 cards. We're going to roll. I rolled a 1. I'm going to roll again. I rolled a 2. That goes there. Sorry, there. And then so it's 1, 1, 2, 2, 1. Coastal lands, 2, and then 4 3s. That is our Invader deck. Let me get the little Scotland reminders here. Take the Explorer one and the Bill one. I do not need this one because that is for a level 6, and I think there's also a level 5 Scotland reminder as well. All right, so that is all set. We're going to set our Fear deck. Fear deck at level 3 Scotland is 4/5/4. So yeah, it's a pretty hardcore Fear deck, man. I'm not gonna lie. So and playing with River, just even with my newfound ways of playing with River, because you're pushing a lot more than you're destroying, it is going to be a little bit hard to work our way through this Fear deck. So that is going to be a challenge that we will need to overcome. All right, so we're gonna do this, and I need 4, 5, 4. I'm going to take the Fear card dividers. So we have the Terror level 3 divider, put 4 cards beneath that, 5 Fear cards on top of it, Terror level 2 divider, 4 Fear cards, and that is our Fear deck. I'm going to shuffle the event deck. I do have them in opaque sleeves. So we have the red sleeves will be for the events. My blue sleeves on to the top left of the screen, those are the major powers, and then I have the minor powers in green sleeves like normal for me. Cool, so the event deck is now shuffled. We need to get a Blighted Island card, or a Healthy Island card. Hopefully it remains healthy. Again, with the new errata, there will be 3 Blight on the Healthy Island card, as opposed to the 2 that I played with for years. I'm very happy to have the extra Blight. So I'm rolling that. It's a D20. I rolled 2. So we'll get the second card there. Put this here. We get 2 Blight and then the additional +1. Thank you, Mr. Royce. All right, we have our 4 Fear. That's set. That can come off. We are going to have a Disease in land 2. We're going to have a Beast in land 6. It is the lowest number without a pre-printed setup icon. We're going to need to shuffle the power cards and go from there. So look, I'm not going to go through all the unique starting powers again. If this is your first time looking at River, you can find my original River video. I did spend a good 15-20 minutes with all of the spirits the first time I featured them and kind of read through their unique powers. Any questions, obviously, hit me up in the comment section below, and I will get back to you, because this is what I do. Cool. So yeah, look, this scenario is cool. It's not my first time I've ever played a scenario. My friend Steve and I played quite a number of the scenarios. And not since Jagged Earth, I don't think. I think we've been so busy kind of learning the new spirits. But they're good. I really like Ward to Shores was super cool. Did the Blitz scenario once. You know, Guard the Isle's Heart is pretty cool. I mean, there's definitely some cool ideas in there. There's just the content and moving up the adversary chain. You know, just again spending time playing the scenarios. You really, I recommend finding 1 or 2 that you really like, and then kind of moving them into your rotation. And I'm happy that this channel is kind of pushing me toward experiencing them all again, because it has been quite some time for sure. So we're going to do the final step of setup, as we are doing the Initial Explorer. Initial Explorer is into mountains. Okay, not great. Now this is the Initial Explorer, so it is not going to have the Scotland adversary rules aren't going to apply yet, and neither will the rules for the scenario. But it actually doesn't really matter because the rules for the scenario is basically if you successfully explore into 6, 7, or 8, we're going to take out one of those little thief tokens, and we would have to put that in there. Oh, and you can admire my beautiful handwriting is what I store in there. I'll put that upside down. All right, cool. So here we are. So this is cool, like kind of seeing how the spirit works out. Looking at this board now, you know, the thing that I want to do, my first 2 turns, I want to basically get up to that reclaim 1, which is not how I played River for a very long time, but it's now the way that it's really working well for me and kind of making me see what I was missing when people have said, no, dude, take another look at River. I'm like, oh, that's what you meant. This spirit is bananas. So they're going to build here. So, I mean, realistically, the question is, do I want to set this up that I might get Blight there, but I'll have Dahan there at the end of this turn to kind of do a retaliate and kill everything that's there on the next turn? Or do I want to set it up that I'm actually pushing this out of the way so I don't have to worry about it at all? I think I'm going to do well, I'm looking like I'm going to get Blight there for sure, right? That's that. I'm not getting rid of 2 cities in the next 2 turns. So I want to save this for next turn for sure. I will save this for next turn, and then I'll play. Do I want to do that? Yeah. Remember, the additional loss condition for Scotland is if you ever have a city, when it's solo game, if I ever have a city, I lose. So if I could only have cities in 2 of the 3 lands on the coastal land on my board. Otherwise, again, automatic loss. Maybe I'll play Wash Away, and I won't worry about Hunter's Bounty. I really like Hunter's Bounty, though. All right, that's fine. I will do that. I'll get Wash Away and Hunter's Bounty, and I won't play Boon of Vigor. Am I going to need Boon of Vigor? No, I won't. All right, cool. So I'm going to do this growth option here. So I'm doing the growth option 2, which is add 2 presents. I'm going to add both of these presents. I'll add 1 inland. Actually, I'm not going to do River's Bounty. River's Bounty requires that you actually have presence there, and I might not. I'm not sure I'm going to have presence where I need it for when I really want to play that card. So I'm going to play 1, 2. So again, first presence I put into 7. Second presence I put into 5. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. So I'm going to get 1 energy from the track. I'm going to play that on Wash Away. And now I have my 2 card plays, so that's fine. So fast powers, I have Boon of Vigor, not Vigors, Vigor. I'm going to get 1 energy. So target any spirit. If I targeted another spirit, they would have gained 1 energy per card play they played this turn. However, that's not on the agenda tonight. I do also have the 1 moon, 1 sun, and the 2 water, so I'm going to have that ability there. Great. We go to the Invader Phase. We are Healthy Island. We're going to Rules of Jagged Earth. We're just flipping over the top event card. We're not resolving it. And now we do the Invader Steps. Invaders are building in land number 5. And the disease comes off land number 2. And now we do the Explore step, exploring into wetlands. All right. So we have an Explorer there and an Explorer here. Now I'm going to put reminder tokens on both the Ravage Step spot and the Explore Step spot. And what that means is, per the scenario rules, now since we successfully explored into land 8, we have to go into here, reach in. I'm going to not look. I'm going to make sure it's face down. It is. And this is going to go here as a thief. Now, what do the thieves do? Well, at the beginning of every Ravage Step, the thieves are going to move 1 toward the coast. If they get off the island, some bad things happen, right? Either you're going to lose all your fear that you've earned in a solo game, or it might actually cause the Invader deck to escalate 1, 2, or 3. Now, you can only see what this is when there are dahan there. Since I have 2 dahan here, I can see what it is. All right, it's a 0. So all that means is if this gets off the island, it's not going to cause me to lose any Invader cards, which is good, but it will cause me to lose any fear I've earned. which is bad, right? So these thieves can only be destroyed in a land where there's 2 dahan. They can only be destroyed by spirit powers. They don't get destroyed by fight back or anything. And they're treated like explorers for all spirit powers. So you can only defeat a thief in a land if there are no cities or towns there. So if this explorer was here, and you also have to have the 2 dahan there too. So if I had the 2 dahan here, I said dahan, I know, oh, the worst. All right, so if I had the 2 dahan here with the town and this. Now if I was doing 3 damage, I could destroy the thief there, because you can check to see that there's no towns or cities before or after the action, right? So that would be totally legit. But if I was here and I only could do 2 damage, I'd have to kill the town first. I would not be able to kill the thief. If I destroy the thief, I'd get a single fear. Any thieves that come off the island get put aside, and at the end of the turn, they get put back in the supply of 18 tokens that we created at the beginning of the game. All right, enough of that. So what am I going to do? I am going to use massive flooding so I don't, one of the things, if I put this here, I would have a sacred place. I'd be able to use that. That would have been interesting. But let's do, yeah, I think that will make some sense. Let's do this. I'm going to push. Yeah, because I'm not one, this isn't one, I don't have a sacred place one away from this, so I can't push this guy. I could push this guy. The problem is I don't really want that sucker to build. But I could use wash away to do that, but I was hoping to do wash away on this. Yikes. All right, so I'm going to push. I should be able to push that next turn. It's not going to be that big of a deal. So I'm going to push. Let me get this town out of here. I'm going to push that town into 7. And then I'm going to, with massive flooding, because that's 1 away from a sacred place. Again, that counts as a sacred place. I'm going to use wash away. I'm going to push these 2 towns and this explorer into land 2. Again, push up to 3 towns and or explorers. You can choose whatever combination you want. So now we have everything in land 2. Obviously, that is going to, oh, Invader card should have advanced. I was yammering away too much at the rules for Despicable Theft. But now you see what I'm doing with River is I'm basically biding my time until I get to the higher levels of this innate, and then I'm going to try to destroy everything in there in one grandiose river explosion. So, yeah, that's going to go a little bit to crap. This is a hard strategy to pull off against England for obvious reasons. It's also going to be hard against France because the additional loss condition there, but this can work really well against a lot of the spirits. Cool. So what are we going to do? Now we go back to growth phase, right? Growth, I'm going to do growth option 2 again. I'm going to put 2 more presents on the board. I'm going to want to get this sacred place here, and I'm going to want to get a presence into land 1, because why not? So I'm going to get 1 energy from the presence track, and then I'm going to play Flash Floods, and I'm going to play River's Bounty. Now you notice that that energy I needed from Boon of Vigor, I needed to either play River's Bounty or Boon of Vigor, because I was going to need to get 1 extra energy to be able to play Flash Floods this turn. But also, I opened up Reclaim 1. So during the Spirit phase, I could choose to take another card, and I could play Boon of Vigor, because obviously I don't have the money, the energy to play Wash Away at this point. Right now, had I played Boon of Vigor and River's Bounty in the first turn, I would have been able to have the energy for that. But I think what I did was better, or at least I'm just more kind of what I was looking to do in that first round by using Wash Away instead of River's Bounty. All right, enough yammering. We're going to do Flash Floods. Flash Floods allows me to do 1 damage in a land or 2 damage in a coastal land. I will just do 1 damage, and I will do 1 damage. I got a plan for that. Yeah, I'll just do the 1 damage. I could do 2 damage here and kill this town. There's really no point. I'm going to do the 1 damage to this explorer and just prevent that from building. All right, and then I have I have 3 suns and 3 waters. So I have the 2nd level of my innate. And then I also, again, I'm replaying Boon of Vigor, so I get another energy from that. So we have River's Bounty, which will be a slow power, as well as the second level of Massive Flooding. We're going to go to the Invader Phase. Top event card, we are going to... Ooh, what? Event, coastal towns multiply. Add one town to a coastal land adjacent to a coastal town. So I had to put a coastal town into 3 or into 2. I'll put it, or sorry, 1 or into 3. 3 into 2, I don't know, whatever. I'm going to put it into 1, which is going to have to work. Explorer's Blunder. On each board, destroy 2 explorers among lands with beasts. And then Coming of Age. On each board, add a dahan to a land with dahan and no blight or disease. I will add this dahan into land 1. Okay, because it has dahan and there's no blight or disease there. All right, Invader Steps. Now, before we get to the Ravage Step, the Thief is going to go move 1 away. Now, if it moved into another location with a Thief, since you're really not supposed to know which is which, you would have to flip this over. But obviously, I can leave it up because there's no other Thieves there, so I already know that's a blank one. We're going to Ravage. We're ravaging in land 2. It's going to be a Blight. We're building in Wetlands. We're going to build a town in land 8. And now we are building in, and then we're exploring into our first stage 2 card. We're exploring into jungles. Now, so the escalator on the single board with the most coastal cities or towns, obviously this is my board, I have to add a town to any land without a town, and I can choose where I want to do it. I'm going to add this into land 5. And now we're exploring into jungles. I'm going to get a town in land 3 because of Scotland. And then we're going to get an explorer into land 7. Yikes. So the since I successfully explored into a land that was 6, 7, or 8, I have to put another one of these suckers. And now, since I'm not supposed to know which is which, I will shuffle these 2 up. And kind of keep doing that until I forget where my fingers were. Cool. All right, and then those go back, and now we have 2 Thieves there, and I have no idea which is which. Yikes. What are we doing? So I still have Massive Flooding, which is fine. 1 away from a Sacred Place. I'm going to push this town. Well, Invader cards advance, because that's what they do. And 1 away from a Sacred Place, I'm going to push this town. I don't want it to build the city there for obvious reasons. So I'm going to push this town here. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to do River's Bounty. I'm going to, since I'm going to target a land where I have presence, gather up to 2 dahan. I can't gather any. However, if there are at least 2 dahan there, I add a 3rd dahan and I gain an energy. And then when that ravages next turn, it will cost me a blight and a presence. However, that will be a dahan retaliate that will wipe everything out there, which will make me happy. Oh wait, check this. Massive Flooding. So I played this as if I had the first level of Massive Flooding. I have the second. So even better is what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 damage. So I'm going to destroy this town and then push up to 3. It's not going to work. Now I could use that on here and save myself the blight, but again, I'm very worried about the coast. I think it makes more sense to use Massive Flooding on land number 3. That gives me my first fear of the game. Very exciting. All right. Time passes. So I'm going to pick my growth option. And obviously, I'm going to pick growth option number 1. So I reclaim my cards. I gain an energy. I'm going to take my energy for the presence track before I forget. Now, I'm going to grab myself a Mina Power. The most important thing that I want is I would like, always and forever, is I would like a water tech. So I can take Steam Vents, which is a pretty nice little card there. I can take Rain of Blood. I can take Teeming Rivers, which has water. So, and I'm not even going to worry about Prowling Panthers. This would allow me to remove Blight, which is interesting. I don't hate steam vents for a couple of reasons. It might be hard to get the 3 towns, the 3 earth, I mean. But destroying an explorer, I could use that against the thieves as long as I have 2 dahan there. I can also use it against the. I can wipe out that build there, which I think makes a lot of sense at this time. So let me do that. I'm taking steam vents, and now I have 3 card plays. Great. So, sorry, I had 2 growth options indicated there. Obviously wrong. I'm going to play Flash Floods, Steam Vents, and I need a Sun Water combo. I will take River's Bounty. So here's my energy. I'm going to play Flash Floods. I'm doing 2 damage to a coastal land because it's 1 damage if target land is coastal with 2nd damage. So I'm going to destroy this town. That generates a fear. I'm going to use Steam Vents, a place where I have presence. I can destroy an explorer. I'm going to destroy that explorer. And then I have unlocked the 2nd level of Massive Flooding as well as River's Bounty. So that will be available in Slow Power Phase as well as River's Bounty. Great. We're going to now do the event card. The event card is Population Rises. On each board, add 1 town to a land with explorers and towns. Why do they keep making me add towns? Stop it. I'm tempted to put it here. I mean, the reality is Blight Cascade is going to start catching up to me at some point. But, I mean, you know, whatever. That's fine. Yeah, we're going to get to level 4 eventually, right? Right? Okay, cool. So that is done. Sand Fever Outbreak. On each board, add a disease to the sands or mountains with the most cities or towns. Obviously, that is here, which will help prevent another city from being built, which makes me happy. And each spirit with at least 2 dahan among all its lands gains an energy. I will take an energy. Great. Before the Ravage Step, these thieves are continuing to try to get to the shores so they can take their spoils home, but there are 2 dahan there, so we get to see what they are. They are both blanks, which is fine. We are now going to do our Invader Steps. So we're doing the Ravage Step in Wetlands. It's ravaging 3 here. That is going to cause a blight. It's going to kill a dahan. It's going to make 1 be injured. It's going to cost me a presence. The surviving dahan fight back. It's going to destroy the explorer in the town, gets me a fear. We do the build step. Nothing to build here. However, we will get a town in land 3 because of Scotland. And now we do our next card is sands. So again, we do the escalation. We're going to have to add a town to a land that doesn't have a town. Yikes. Why do I keep getting towns? I'll put it in the... Well, I don't want to put it next to this. The problem is I don't want to put it here because then it's going to give me a source to 6. And again, if I put a source to 6, I put another thief on the board. So let me put it here, which is going to prevent me from killing those guys. But I'm actually not that worried about either of them because they don't have numbers on them, right? So I'm going to put this here based on escalation. Now we're successfully exploring into land 1. Now we're exploring into 6, right? Because there's no source. But we're exploring to land 1, and it becomes a town, not an explorer, because of, yes, Scotland. Great. So what are we doing now? I have my... Man, I'm trying not to go Blighted Island. It might not be totally possible. Probably reclaiming that card. Sure. This is, well, this could work. I'm going to do 2 damage in land 1, destroy one of these towns. I can't destroy the thieves because there's still towns there. That gives me a fear. This comes down. Now I can push up to 3 towns and explorers. I'm going to push this town into land 2, and I'm going to push both of these thieves. I can treat them like explorers. I'm going to push them into land 7. I know they're both have no numbers, so there's no point in flipping them back over. That is fine. Now I still have River's Bounty. I'm going to gather... I have to gather into a land where I have presence. I'm going to gather these two dahan into land 7. And I'm going to add a third dahan. And since there are more than two present, or sorry, since there are two or more present, I got to put a third dahan, and I gain an energy. Time is going to pass. Cool. I feel like I forgot to do something over here, but I don't think I did. No, I definitely explored, and we did it all. Okay, so look, it's a level 1 card coming up, which is nice, and then we know the coastal lands is after that. So obviously this becomes a concern. So what am I doing now? I'm going to do growth option number 3. I'm going to, so I can reclaim a card. I want to reclaim Flash Floods because I want to destroy that town. Right? I do not want I don't want that Ravage. I want to prevent Blighted Island. That's fine. So I'm definitely reclaiming that. Plus it has the elements that I want, which is, again, namely a moon and a sun and a wetland. If I can get another sun and wetland out of the minor power deck right now, that would be magical because I am gaining a power. Or again, I didn't add the presence yet. I'm using this growth option. I have to add this presence on the board. Did I get a sun water combo? I did not. Oh, I did not. Call to migrate. So I have no waters at all. So I will have level 2 at least with the cards in my hand, which is fine. The question is, what do I want? This defend card is pretty garbage. Call to migrate could be useful. Then if I forget this for a major, that's probably about right. Do I need... Yeah, I need to get a sacred place adjacent to land. Oh, shoot. Yikes. All right. I have to do that back. I didn't have a sacred place adjacent to land 1. So I pushed a town, I destroyed a town, and I pushed these 2. So I would basically just destroy the town from land 3. That's not good. Yeah, I couldn't do massive flooding there because I didn't have a sacred place. It's so weird not having a sacred place adjacent when you're river, but alas, here we are. Build a city. Wash away. Yeah, wash away wasn't in my hand. All right, well, let me see if that changes anything. All right, we'll do call to migrate. No, there's no beast there. I'll take swarming wasps. If these guys get off the island, it's not the worst idea. It's not the worst deal ever. I get an energy from the presence track, and then I'm going to play these 3 cards. All right, so I'm going to put 2 energy on Flash Floods, 1 energy on Wash Away. Boon of Vigor, I'm going to play that now, take another energy. Flash Floods, I can do 2 damage. I will wipe out this town, gives me a fear. I'm going to do 2 damage in a coastal land. And then I'm also going to add a presence. Oh, I never added my other presence. I'm going to add a presence in land 5 to give me a sacred place to all 3 of the coastal lands. That's when I realized I was in this mess. And then I'm going to add a beast into land 1 because of swarming wasps. All right. Now let's go to the event card. Event card says war touches the island shores. So I can allow the attacks, prevent a build of a city in land 1. I would be going Blighted Island. I'm not sure I hate that too much though. Just kind of looking at where we're at. Yeah, I definitely don't want to deal with another city in land 1 here. If I do 4 damage, I can actually wipe out both the thieves, which would make me not... Well, there's only 1 fear there, but I could potentially get another fear card. Oh, actually, no. Only my powers can destroy the thieves, so that's actually not going to help at all. Yeah, let's do it. I'm looking at the rest of this card. I'm going to be able to kill one of these guys. There's like some benefits here, so let's see what happens. So I'm going to discard the top major power. I'm doing 4 damage. Now again, only my powers can destroy the thieves. So they're not explorers for any other purpose, including event cards and whatnot. So I'm doing 4 damage to land 1. That is going to again, that goes to the, it doesn't go to the dahan, but it goes to the invaders and to the land. So I'm doing 4 damage. It destroys that town, so I prevent building the city, but it does put a blight on the board. And the town was still going to build. I lose a presence, right? Remember, I do have massive flooding unlocked as well. And now we do, oh, I might not lose that presence yet. Let me see what the Blighted Island card is. Well, the Blighted Island card is all things weaken. Starting next turn, invaders and dahan have -1 health. The land takes blight on 1 less damage. And if you add blight, destroy all presence and beast in that land and 1 presence total in all adjacent lands. Now it only has 3 blight per player, which is not a lot. My presence is destroyed, and that it'll have to do. All right, not terrible. Now, on each board, push 1 beast to an adjacent land without blight. I'm going to push this beast here. I get 1 fear if invaders are present. There is a town there, so I get a fear. And then reclaim territory. Each player may push 1 dahan to an adjacent land, doing 1 damage there. I'm going to push this dahan into land 1. I do a oh, that's a fear card. Shoot. Oh, I'm trying to get rid of these suckers. Well, I'm going to lose these 3 fear. That just is what it is. All right, I'm going to push this dahan into land 5 and do a damage there that way. Great, fear card. Maybe I'll get 1 more damage there. Each player chooses a different land to isolate. Don't hate that. Spreading timidity. I'm going to isolate land 5, and now I have no sources to any lands that are not on the coast. And now we go to the Ravage Step. Well, before we get there, these thieves both escape the island. And we lose 4 fear for each. If we can only lose 3, and that's fine. If there was numbers on there, this is when we would start losing invader cards pretty quickly, and that would make me very sad. We're ravaging in lands 3 and 7. Obviously, no invaders are to ravage. We're going to build in the coastal lands, since land 1 is adjacent to a coastal city, or to a city. It is a coastal land adjacent to a city. That city could be in land 7. It's still the same thing. We do get a town there. And now we do the explore step. We're doing exploring jungles. Oh shoot, that puts, there is a source of 7 now. Oh, that's so gross. Great. So because of Scotland, we get a town in land 1 and we get an explorer in land 7. And because land 7 is a number higher than 6, we also get ourselves one of these suckers. All right. Now, at the end of the turn, these 2 are going to go back in, so I'm just going to do that now. There are 2 dahan there, so I can see what this is. Oh, that's a 2. That's bad. Invader cards and bats. Awesome. All right. Yeah, let me see what I want to do now. I'm going to use Wash Away. I think that makes some sense. Yeah. I'm going to use Wash Away to push this and this thief, because my powers can treat him like an explorer. So I'm going to push this thief and that explorer there. And then I'm going to use Massive Flooding. I'm going to do 2 damage. I'm going to do 1 damage to this town, 1 damage to this thief, because I can treat him like an explorer. He's out. That generates a fear, and destroying the town also generated a fear. Remember, that town had been injured by the event card. And again, at the end, as long as when I finished carrying out that power, there are no cities and towns there, that's totally legit and legal, so I was able to kill that thief. Great, so I got a little bit of that thing back, plus that number 2 is really scary. You take away 2 cards from an event deck in any game, that's not great, right? So that was going to go back in here at the end of the turn. I have no more slow powers, so we are going to go to the next round. Time passes. This isolate token can come off. I'm going to get an energy from that and an energy from that. And I'm doing growth option 1, so I get another power card. that's about what I need. There you go. Encompassing ward. Now I have no presence there, so that's not great. But those are exact symbols that I need. So we're going to go with the Sun Wetland combo. And my 4 power cards that I'm going to play are Boon of Vigor, Encompassing Ward, I think. Can I unlock that too? Wash Away. Nope. I was wondering if I can get 3 Earth. Doesn't matter, I need that presence anyways. Flash Floods, and that's already enough. I just need a wetland, or a water tag. Boon's Vigor, River's Bound is not going to help me that much. I don't have presence in those places yet. So let me do Wash Away. So that's going to cost me all of my energy. Ooh. I don't have presence there. Encompassing Ward's probably not that helpful. That's fine. Encompassing Ward is useless. I will play River's Bounty. It gives me the elements I need, and it just kind of saves me energy. I'm probably... Oh, I don't know what I'm doing next turn. We shall find out. All right. So let me... I have the highest level. So I have the 3 suns, the 4 waters, and the 1 earth, which is fine. I'm going to play Boon of Vigor. That gets me an energy. I'm going to play Flash Floods. I'm going to prevent this. So it's 1 away from where I have presence, and it's coastal, so I can do 2 damage, destroy that. It gives me a fear. And that is fine. We're going to go to the... Oh, wait. All things... Oh, so starting this turn, all things weaken. So that's interesting. Oh. Oh, you... I just put that together, how sick Massive Flooding is now. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty gross. So everything has -1 health. Okay, fine. Event card. Relentless Optimism. We are still on terror level 1. For the rest of this turn, don't generate fear when destroying cities or towns. Well, great. So I'm going to put a reminder here and here just to kind of... I'll put it on that, just to keep that in my head. All right, foreign diseases. On each board in the land with the most combined invaders and dahan, add a disease, 2 damage to dahan. Combined invaders plus dahan. This is 7 there. That is more than anything else. I put a disease, and there's no dahan there, so we're fine. Offerings of Patterson Dance. Each spirit with at least 2 dahan amongst all its lands gains 1 energy. That does include me, so I get another energy from that. This event card goes here. Cool. There are no thieves on the board. Again, the one we put there, I moved and I destroyed last turn. So we're ravaging in land 1 and 6, nothing there to ravage. We're building in land 7, nothing there to build. We do get a city in land 3. Not ideal, but it's fine. We're going to do the Invader Step, the Explorer Step. We're exploring into land 1, 2, and 3, so we don't have to worry about the thieves. And now the rules of Scotland, 2 of these towns, only 2, not all 3, are going to get a town, and 1's going to get an explorer. So what I'm going to do is put an explorer in 1, and then I'm going to put a town in 2 and a town in 3. This moves over, and now I'm going to move. I'm not generating any fear for any of this, which is a little not great. But I'm gonna move these 2 over here. I think that's gonna make some more sense. And I'm gonna do that. I'm doing that with Wash Away. All right. Says Wash Away. I can target that land. I can push those 2 over. Now I'm gonna do Massive Flooding. I do have a Sacred Site in land 5, so I'm doing 2 damage to every invader there. Again, all things are weakened, so both the cities are dead, and all these towns are dead, and all these explorers are dead. Now, I'm not getting any fear for that. So it's a little bit of a lost opportunity, but that's still okay. We might get the first Terror Level 1 victory on the channel, or this is going to blow up my face miserably. We'll see. River's Bounty. I can gather 2 dahan into a place where I have presence. Since there's at least 2 there, I'm going to add another dahan and get myself an energy. Alright, so let's go to the next round. What growth option am I doing? Well, I'm going to do growth option. Yeah, I don't think it makes sense to do growth option 1 because I can reclaim cards. I'm going to reclaim Flash Floods. I'm getting energy from the presence track. I know that already. I don't really need 5 card plays. Seems excessive, but why not? So I'm going to add 2 presence, 1 away from where I have presence. I'm going to add a presence here and a presence there. And that means I get 2 energy from the presence track instead of just 1. I'm going to play these 4 cards. So I get 2 energy, 1. Cool. Steam Vents, I can destroy this Explorer. That's fine. I can target a land without Blight. I'm going to target land 5. It pushes this guy here. Land, because the target land has a beast, you get to push 2 explorers. So I'm going to push that guy there. That's fine. I'm going to do 2 damage on land 3 because I have presence, 1 away from where I have presence. That 2 damage is enough to kill this city because of all things weakened. So that's 2 fear. This, in effect, is no longer in play. So that's 1, 2, bam. Actually, I have a fear card. And then I'm going to do Encompassing Ward. I get to defend 2 in land 3. And you guys should see this coming by now. So, done. All right, we go to the event cards. The event cards are Putting Down Roots. Oh, man. Oh, no, an inland land on each board replace 1 explorer with a town. Oh, it's Blight of the Island. Sorry. On each board with invaders, add 1 blight to an inland land. I can prevent this by destroying 3 presence. Whatever, fine. Blight. Put a blight over there with a beast. Invaders do not ravage in lands with disease or strife, and each player may, do not have to, thank God, drive off the interlopers. Each player may push 1 explorer town from a land with dahan. No thank you. Fear card. Terror level 1. Each player removes an explorer or a town from a land with disease. Doesn't apply. Ravage Phase. Ravaging 1. I'm defended 2. dahan retaliate. We have ourselves a terror level 1 victory. Man. All right. River's pretty sick. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm sorry if I'm as sorry to River and his family as I am to Shadows and his family, because I was pretty mean to Shadows. River I always liked. I just didn't think it was all that strong. But yeah, that's an interesting sequence. The 2 presence, reclaiming 1. You have 3 card plays by your second turn. You're unlocking your second innate, 2 damage and pushing everything. I mean, I literally only have 2 fear cards, but who cares? It's obviously stronger against some adversaries than others. Very strong against Scotland. Helpful against France, even though not as strong. Found it actually really helpful against Russia. I mean, 2 damage to each invader. It's a nice way to gather a bunch of explorers together and to wipe them all out. At once, because again, those explorers against Russia can be really, really brutal. It's just a very, very strong. It's a strong spirit. I just missed it, and I'm happy. Look, I am happy to say when I am wrong, because when I know I am wrong, it means I learned something more about the games that I love, and that is super cool. And one of the major benefits of doing what I do with this channel, and I really appreciate the community that has come around and supported me despite me missing things, like how strong River is. So, my friend Tony, who I taught this game, was always like, dude, like, no, River's really good, man. He's really good. I'm like, I don't really see it. And then I did the top 10, and like everyone else was like, River's really good. And I'm like, all right, let me look at it one more time. And there's about 5 or 6 plays in that I stumbled into the basically the starting few turns that I did tonight. I was like, oof. Okay, I see it. It's a little boring. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, at some point you're like, all right. It's like playing with Finder, right? Where you're like, let me get all this stuff together and then wipe it out. I mean, it's not the most exciting of games ever. I mean, after you do it a couple of times, but it's very, very satisfying the first few times you do it. That is for sure. So I'm happy to see a low complexity spirit that, along with lightning, that I would be like, hey, take the spirit. But then again, like I like when I'm playing with my friends, I really want them just kind of. I don't want to alpha. Yeah, I don't want an alpha game. I want them to kind of figure it out, So, and I did think for me, River was a frustrating spirit for a long time. Fun, but frustrating. But that is that. I digress. So the scenario's interesting. It's I played with the strong spirit. Maybe that wasn't the greatest. Again, thieves can only be destroyed, removed, or replaced in lands with no cities or towns and 2 or more dahan. The fact that River can get dahan in the place where it needs to be. To do that makes it easier. I mean, I did let 2 get off the island, but remember, I knew that those 2 weren't exactly things I needed to worry about. They were not fast forwarding the invader deck. I could see this scenario playing much more dynamic fashion in a multi-board game where now you have thieves kind of coming from the center of the island and going out to the coasts, and you have different spirits with different abilities trying to wrestle with that. And there's only one invader deck, so if one spirit lets 2 thieves go off the island and both of them have a number 2 on them, well, now you just lost 4 invader cards, right? And that could be really, really rough. I originally thought I was going to play this scenario with Keeper, but I found Keeper was a pretty weak spirit to use in this scenario. Not because Keeper's not strong, but it wasn't a good example of the scenario because Keeper kept getting wilds, on this part of the board. So the more wilds I had out there, the less there was. You only put a thief if there's a successful exploration, and I just wasn't having enough successful explorations to feel like that Keeper would have been a really good spirit to use when I'm really trying to give a good example of how a scenario plays out. But I think we saw those mechanics. I caught that one mistake where I treated massive flooding. I tried to do massive flooding here before I had the sacred site in land 5. Whoa! Oh, I said the magic. I said sacred site. Just want somebody put it on the big board that Greg said sacred site instead of sacred place once in his life. Hopefully that will be a sign of things to come. But that is that. I will be back. I'm going to be doing a level 5 adversary in a couple of weeks. Haven't decided what yet. Probably come back a couple weeks after that. You'll see Powers Long Forgotten. The schedule as it currently exists is I plan on doing 2 or 3 Spirit Islands a month. I do not see that slowing down anytime soon. There is so much content in this game. It's really cool. And we have level 5 adversaries, level 6 adversaries. I'm looking to do a strength versus strength series at some point to hopefully get that started in a few months. But yeah, so lots to do, lots to look forward to. If something that you want to see, let me know, man. If I have enough people, and man and lady, I have enough people that say they want to see something done, I will definitely take it all into consideration. My schedule is fairly fluid, and I'm only planned out about 2 months in advance most of the time. As many of you know, if you want to see the schedule as it's coming out, I do put a public post on my Patreon page at the beginning of every month, so you can go on there and you can check it out. It's usually, again, right around the 29th, 30th of the previous month, or in February, it'll be like the 26th, 27th of February, and I'll tell you what's coming up in the next month and kind of give you a little bit of a sneak peek for the month after that, so you can make sure that you know what's coming up and make sure you see everything you want to see in Solo Playthroughs land. I appreciate the support, and until next time, happy gaming.